Hello everybody and welcome to another Cats Me Wow design video. My name is Jasmine and today I thought we would do something a little bit differently. This is kind of like a sewing vlog, I guess. This isn't a tutorial today because I am undertaking a project that I haven't done before and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I don't want to teach you guys something that I don't know what I'm doing. That's why this video will probably be a little bit chaotic, so you'll have to bear with me. But I just got invited to a formal, and I have not been invited to a formal in probably 9 years. Needless to say, in said 9 years, I no longer fit into any of the dresses that I had previously, and so because of some major crazy things that have happened recently, I don't have a lot of extra money. So my goal is to make a formal dress for this event with under $40. So $40 or less is my goal. I don't know if it will happen, but either way, it's going to be cheaper than finding a dress on Amazon, and I'll actually like it better if I make it myself. So I will go ahead and pop up a picture. This is a sketch that I did of kind of the idea of what I wanted to do. I am not an artist, so, you know, as you can see in the photo, I'm not. But some pieces that I really love about it is, of course, the sweetheart neckline. That is my favorite neckline, and I find that it's the most flattering for my figure. But also, I have this fabric, which I absolutely loved, and I bought it several months ago. I don't know how well you can see it. But anyways, it is white, and it looks like little roses, and it's made out of ribbon. Or it's ribbon that's sewn on into the shape of roses, but it's over top of like a lightweight cotton, but more of like a chiffon-y type feel. That is fabric that I already had in my stash because it was on clearance at Hobby Lobby for $5 a yard, which is awesome. When I bought it, I didn't really have a purpose for said yarn, or for I didn't have a purpose for such fabric, so I just went ahead and bought 3 yards and figured I would hope for the best. So I don't have enough to complete the entire project. So as you can see on my, hold on, I have a cat over here. Anyway, as you can see on my design, for the skirt part, my plan is to have this rose fabric along the bottom, and the center front is going to be without that. And then I am going to get a crepe-backed satin to do the bodice part and the center front, and maybe the sleeves. The sleeves are not really sure. So as I go through and I try to decide this, I'm like trying to decide if I want to use like a white satin. Then I was worried that it would look too much like a wedding dress, and I wanted to be able to wear this for other occasions as well. And so after putting a poll up on my Instagram, I'm sorry, I have a kitty. Anyways, after putting a poll up on my Instagram, I have decided to go with a blue color, and that will offer a really nice kind of contrast against the white. And today I found a trim that has pearls on it, and it's white. I'm going to try to put it on the sweetheart neckline, and so yeah, we're going to see what happens, but stay tuned and let's hope this turns out good because I don't have a lot of other options. Let's go! So unfortunately, my computer decided it wasn't going to record me cutting out the fabric, but here I am sewing the princess seams on the top of the bodice. This is, of course, with that blue satin that I was talking about, and I just love this. It has a crepe backing, and it's just so beautiful.
Next, I sewed the front bodice panels to the back bodice panels so that I could have the full bodice done, and we could move on to our next step. So after I serged all of the seams, now it's time to iron. I'm going to be honest with you, I hate ironing very much, but I know how necessary it is in order for the project to turn out better or turn out good. So I do begrudgingly iron. So I started out with ironing on the crepe backed side, and my iron is at a low temperature so that I won't ruin the fabric. And so I just kind of kept flipping back and forth between the front and the back just so that I can get the most smoothest iron. I, of course, had my tailor's ham there for the princess seams, especially in the front. And it ironed out so well. Just, of course, you don't want to leave it in one spot for too terribly long. And if you're dealing with something that is shiny like this, you want to make sure that your iron is clean and doesn't have any sort of adhesives or anything like that from any previous interfacing, and you should be good to go. But always check on the fabric whether it can be ironed or not. It just so happened that this one could be ironed, thank goodness, but always check and double check your settings before you start. So this is where things had started to go awry because I had fully intended on using some pattern pieces that I already had for the skirt so that I could use my big hoop skirt underneath, and upon laying it down I realized that one, I didn't have enough fabric, and two, that was the whole thing. So instead, I ended up finding the length that I wanted and cutting that and sewing the front and back panels together so that I would have 120 inches around the waist. And I ended up just doing a basting stitch and ruching them together. And of course, I had some kitty help, for better or for worse, and then attaching that to the bodice, which did give it some nice body since it would be under the white rose fabric, and it added a nice texture. So now I'm just going through and serging the bottom of the skirt so that I don't have it attempting to unravel as I'm working with it. I did also serge the top edge because I would be ruching that later. And the worst thing in the world is having it fall apart on you as you're trying to work with it. Like, don't don't ask me how I know that that's the worst. It really is, though. So I really wanted a clean hem for this. So now that it's all serged, I am choosing a double rolled hem that will hide the serged edges, and I just honestly love how it looks.
So unfortunately, because I had it all recorded on my camera and then it got corrupted, so I don't have any more video footage of making it, but I figured I'd walk you through the process before I do the final reveal. And so for the white rose fabric on the top, on the top of the skirt, I ended up cutting out the full width and sewing it together. I sewed about 3 inches from the top just so that it could have a beautiful V shape, because I also did not have enough white rose fabric in order to cut out the pieces either. I gave myself 2 yards to do that process, and I saved the last yard for the sleeves. And so I took and had a pattern for a flounce sleeve from one of the other patterns that I have designed. And so I cut that out and hemmed it real quick, used my serger, all of the beautiful things, and added that to the bodice. I ended up changing it from a classic jewel shaped neckline to work with the fabric I did have, and I used some beautiful beading around the neckline, which you'll see in just a couple of moments. I also took and cut out a sash to add to it because I really thought that that would tie the whole look together. And, you know, I loved it. The biggest fun part, or the biggest part about wearing it, was of course the undergarments because I wanted it to poof out a little bit. I was disappointed that my hoop skirt was too big to fit underneath of it, but that's okay. I used what I had that would work, and it ended up turning out so beautifully and not bad for a week's worth of work. We also that week ended up getting a baby kitten that was 9 weeks old. And so, yeah, it was a handful trying to care for him, and also just do this project that I had no idea what I was doing since it was a custom design. And yeah, so anyway, so let's go look at the dress.
So this is the full look of the dress. I do not have the underskirt for this on my mannequin, but this is a final look. I absolutely love it. I'll go through real quick and just explain a little bit more about each of the pieces. So the neckline, originally I was going to go for either a sweetheart neckline, but I couldn't find my pattern pieces for sweetheart neckline. So I ended up using a jewel neckline, which also didn't work out, especially with this beading, but that's okay. I attached the beading with some strong fabric glue hold because I had 24 hours before the formal to get this on and I did not have time to hand stitch it. But I'm still super, super proud of how it looks. For the sleeves, since there is so much of the white fabric on the bottom, I wanted to save some for the top. So I had this kind of flounce sleeve pattern from one of my previous designs. As you can see, for this, I just serged the edges and then I just did a single fold because I did not want the hem on the sleeves to become too thick. And with all of this ribbon, I was worried that was what was going to happen. I this belt, I love belts. Okay, I'm a millennial, and uh, waist belts are just fantastic. So, but what I loved about this is that it also offers some good versatility. You can have it in the front to decorate the front, or you can have it in the back, have the bow in the back, and then you can just have this really nice band of satin around your waist, and it helps tuck it in a little bit. The dress did end up being a little bit too big, so this just helped to cinch my waist and make it look better, at least in my opinion. So for the top part of the skirt, here is the couple of inches that I sewed to make it a beautiful V shape. The V shape is more pronounced with the underskirts, but again, I don't have that currently on my mannequin. And just like with the sleeves, I serged the edges and did a single fold over for that because this fabric really doesn't fray, and especially with the ribbon, I didn't want it to get too heavy. Now this blue satin, as I had mentioned, I did do a double rolled hem. This is what it looks like underneath. And I absolutely love that kind of drapery. And yeah, I love it. It has a full princess feel and everything. But yeah, so this is, once again, the finished design. Anyway, go ahead and hit subscribe if you like all sorts of crafting videos. I am working on getting some better equipment. Hopefully that's more reliable, and so I'll be able to film more videos and hopefully in better quality. But thanks again for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.